Hey everyone. So, I want to go ahead and speak my mind in this video and give you folks an in-depth of what's really been going on and what's really been eating at my mind the past few weeks or so. So instead of doing a gameplay video like I originally intended to do, instead of doing a gameplay video that I originally intended, or doing an AU or reaction video or whatever, I really just want to sit down here and just have a one-on-one chat, or rather, just to speak my mind into the camera while you folks listen in, or whatever, I guess. Because I've lately been overly stressed, and I've lately been overly exhausted with what's been happening lately and what's been going on in my life. So to give context, right, to what's been happening and what's been going on, I have actually been overly stressed and overly drained over not just the state that I'm in, but the service that I'm tied to, and the fact that I am limited within the service, and how it's just it's getting so fucking ridiculous with this. I've truly about had it with this here. So if you folks don't know, I'm on SSI, or was, or whatever, Social Security Income. And what this basically is, ideally, to the best of my knowledge, for what I know, and I've always been on this here since I was like 7 years old or some shit. I've always been on this service here. So what this service exactly is that it's basically a service, or a government branch or whatever, where the state gives you a certain amount of money per month, and within that month, this goes into funding. And what this funding is that it could be from anywhere to like helping needs of what you may not, or whatever. I'm autistic. I think that's kind of an obvious thing if you folks been on the channel here for a while, is that I am clearly autistic. I'm not really happy about it, or really all that excited on being autistic, honestly. But I've always been autistic all my life. I've always had a learning disability. I've talked about this, a bunch of times in the past before, that I am autistic. I do have a learning disability. I do take longer to understand things, and it may be a bit of a challenge for me to, be social, or at the very least, work towards deeper conversations, or really fully express how I feel. It's very much a challenge at times, but I want to really discuss and talk with you folks about what's been eating away at me with SSI. So I'm not going to get into the full depth of it, because a lot of this stuff is, kind of, personal anyway, to kind of begin with. So I'm not going to, give you the full course, but I want to give you the main basics, and why I think I'm at a point to where I just want to rip the band-aid off and just say fuck it, and go in full time with work and everything. So this shit started to happen right after my release of stage 2, which was even more grand, honestly. Excuse me. But anyway, this really started to happen after my release of Stage 2. So if you folks don't know, I have an album, or rather a fan project album that I've been releasing, from time to time, my own fan project, similar to Everywhere at the End of Time, with my own stages and, sets and everything. So I've recently released stage 2 within this timeline, right? By January, and Basically, if you folks don't know, stage two, is basically the sad and depressing side of the project. Not only that, it's like the acceptance of the condition and the diagnosis. All of that jazz. Basically of self grieving, self loathing when it's confirmed not only do you have Alzheimer's or dementia, but there's nothing you can do about it. It's very heavy stuff. So anyway, right after I released that, I got a letter saying I that the monthly thing or whatever that I was gonna get was down to zero, which doesn't really make any sense. Now, I always print out my pay stubs, on time. I always, because that's kind of the thing now, and it's ridiculous that it's come to this point all because I work. But anyway, so I always print out my pay stubs, and I always make sure that get, I always mark off how much I made within that week, or add all together how much I made within that month, without without any taxes or Medicaid or whatever taking a small itty bitty portion of it, just a little sliver of it. They want to know the full cake. Even if someone took a sample of it, they want to know the full on baking cake of it, right, per se. So I've always done this. I've never really missed a beat. There have been times where I did slip up a little bit here and there in the past, but that was only like 2 or 3 times, in the past 2 to 3 years, and that was really about it. But other than that, I haven't missed a beat. So anyway, so they should have the system, whatever, right? SSI. They should have a timeline map of all of this, of all that I've made and everything. And so I got a letter saying that my monthly thing or whatever that I get per month is going to be down to zero, and that I'm not going to get jack shit for February. That's not that's not exactly good. And I know I'm not the best at explaining this, but like if you folks know more in depth on this, then you know. So basically, so me and my mom, we had to, go in deep with this. My mom, because she's my payee, whatever. So we had to go in deep. My poor mom, she had to wait like 3 hours at the state, at some state building or whatever. I'm not the greatest with names or whatever, so just roll with it here, okay? So she finally had to go in person to the state thing, the state building, because as she looked up and tried to, dive in on what to do, they said that you can make an appointment, that you have to make an appointment unless it's an emergency, and not only that, but you have to be within da 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 whatever, some shit, in order to, get in and wait in line. And if you just show up, and it's non emergency, whatever, then you have to kind of go away, wait for another day, whatever. So my poor mom, she's waiting here, right, for, to get in. She finally gets in and talks to someone, only to find out that this guy here, he basically says that, yeah, because I've been working so much that I'm on SSDI now instead of SSI. So it's like, okay, whatever. I don't know why it did not say that on the fucking letter. Because that would have been nice at least. Because basically, when we looked at the letter, the bouncing letter and stuff and everything, they didn't say anything on me moving over to SSDI or we're cutting off with services or whatever. No, it was just zero, and it wasn't very much information, whatever, here. And this wasn't like some bullshit scandal scam thing, whatever, of like, some sketchy scam or whatever. No, this was actually through, the main house itself or whatever. So we investigated, and when that guy said that, it was just like, okay, whatever. It's ridiculous, but you know what? Whatever. We can learn the new system. At least we have a marking point now, I guess. No, I guess not. Because now it turns out that we got another letter saying that I'm not gonna get anything through March either because I've made too much money. Brother, you know how much I actually make? I'm only doing 14 hours a week. 14, two shifts, two 7-hour shifts per time. I'm doing the bare minimum at work because of your guys' shit. And I'm not saying that to be lazy, I'm saying that genuine because I can only do so much with SSI. You know, I can't have more than $2,000. You know, it fell enough. I'll just take the money that I made. If I get a little bit overboard or tipping over a bit, I'll just throw it over to my 401k, which is also basically a labeled thing for special needs folks. Yeah, I can't just have a 401k. I gotta have a specific 401k for special needs. Cause I gotta be disabled. I gotta be autistic, right? So that means I gotta have a specific 401k. I gotta have specific this, specific shit. Not just normal stuff like everyone else who's not on the spectrum. No. So not only that, but now they're saying that I'm not gonna get any money through for March because I make too much money. Which is complete utter bullshit because I've been keeping it the same since frickin' last July or some crap of last year. It's really ridiculous, folks, that I have to go through all of this here. And I'm at a point to where clear up, throat. Uh, clear up, for God's sake. But yeah, it's just that with this stuff here now. So now not only am I not gonna get, I may not get anything for March as well, but I may have to soon jump into full time because I need to pay, rent. Even though I live with my family and everything, all my life, you still need to cover rent, or at least I think so, whatever. But anyway, nonetheless, so this is what's really been stressing me out, folks, is SSI shit. And I know SSI is good and everything with services, they really are, but now I'm really contemplating if it's even worth it in the first place to get on here with these folks. And I'm not mad at the people who work at SSI, whatever, because they're just doing their jobs. They really are. They're just doing their jobs. It's not the people's fault. They don't really know any better. It's the freaking system in of itself that's the problem. And the fact that you can't really get a hold of anyone or you can't really talk with anyone. So now I'm at a freaking pickle here with this shit. I don't know if it's a decided thing that they just decided, oh, well, let's just cut them off completely, or some dickhead just purposefully did it, or if it's a genuine error or whatever. But whatever the case is, it really does not matter because the outcome for me is always the freaking same. And the fact that now I'm in this sort of real pickle thing here. And cause I don't freaking know. I don't know if I'm on SSDI now or if I'm on SSI. I don't know what the case is or whatever. It's so confusing. And this is partially why I have anxiety over financial stuff. I'm not saying it's their fault or whatever, but this is one of the big criteria reasons as to why I don't really like financial stuff or why financial stuff is so hard and so tricky for me here because It's just ridiculous, and I personally really fucking hate SSI because I'm limited alone as it is, which is whatever. I can only make so much money, which is okay, whatever, you know. I can only do so much within the services, which is whatever. And I get it, we all have limits, whatever. There's only limits to certain things, which is cool or whatever. But like, I don't know if they still think that I'm like freaking Bambi or some shit, and they don't actually look at how far I've actually come or whatever, and they just see me as just with this child or whatever because I'm on the spectrum or whatever, so therefore I mentally be a kid in some way or whatever, and why they need to keep it up with this or some shit. I really don't know, but it really pisses me off how, and I'm not saying how I need to like, fully limit myself, but how, I need to tiptoe around these fuckers just so that I don't. It's like being at a mine. It's like being at a minefield, and I need to very carefully not go off on a mine or whatever, and get blasted with a freaking um spend down or whatever. It's such ridiculous shit, folks, and I'm at a point to, well, I may just say, you know what, fuck it, rip the band-aid off, see if I really care anymore about these services here, because my parents do say it is important, and I'm sure it is, but I never really understood what that exactly means, because all I see is that I'm just a bird in a cage and I can't fully fly. Or I can fly, but we gotta have boundaries over certain things, whatever. I'm 26 or whatever, but I gotta, you know, tiptoe around everything in my life. It's such ridiculous shit, and I really hate it. And the fact that they say that I'm making too much money when it's the same fucking amount that I've been making over the past year or two now, or God forbid, the past over 5 years now that I've been working at my job. They're saying that I'm making too much money. With what? And they're not even telling me exactly like how much or whatever. No, they're just saying I'm making too much. Where's the numbers? Where's the math? I gotta know some of these stuff so that I can, at least have an idea of where things are. It's such ridiculous shit how like I said, I barely work as it is. I only just do part time, 14 hours a week, and yet I'm getting blasted with this shit here. They could at the very least be more clear. At least give me a destination to what's gonna happen next so that I can prepare, so I could know what's coming up next. At least tell me, because of da 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 whatever, you're gonna be on S.S.I now. That's still bullshit, whatever, but at least there's a destination. At least there's a marker on the map. At least there's a pinpoint, a waypoint. So that then I can at least be like, okay, that's ridiculous, whatever. But they say go here, or that I'm gonna be here, so okay, we'll work it out with them. But no, they didn't do that. It's I'm just gonna repeat myself at this point, but I just really fucking hate being who I am in some parts. I mean, I don't like hate myself, because I've been perfectly fine with myself, honestly. But I just hate the fact that I'm autistic. I really do, folks, and I'm gonna say this as some hot take, whatever. I personally really don't like seeing or viewing myself as being autistic or special needs. I know a lot of things like in media now and TikTok, whatever, make it seem like autism is like this special, unique thing that you may or may not have, or you have one specific interest, which I may have to an extent, especially with, dementia music. because I've been spewing over caretaker shit for the past last year, whatever, annoyingly enough, and fan projects and da 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 whatever. So that may be a quote special interest, as honest that is, or just a mention of itself, and you throw music on top of it and mix it in together like a cake batter or some crap. But yeah, I know some folks may, especially with media and stuff, like I said, they may see, autism as a special or unique kind of thing. I personally see it, and this is only from my view personally, but I just see it as a burden, like a genuine burden on myself, I've never seen it as cool, at least on myself, and I'm saying this directly at me only, individually, because I don't want to say it to like, everyone else, whatever, because they may have different views. But like with me personally, with being autism and being special needs and disabled, whatever, I've never seen it as cool or unique. I've always seen it as an actual burden on my family, on some of my friends, and especially to the freaking government. Because the government, because of where I'm at, the government basically has to babysit me, per se, hence all this other shit. And I really fucking hate it. I really do. I hate how, so not only am I limited within my mind, within my brain or whatever, I'm also limited within the services and within the state and with how much I can do in my life because I can only make so much, I can only do so much with work, whatever. And I mean, and I get it. We all have limits. We all can only do so much, anyway. We can only live so much. We can only do so much. But it always feels like, with me specifically, I've always just felt like that I can only do so much because of what I'm giving and what I'm served, while everyone else can give it the all, per se, a lot more. And I just felt like such a burden on it, honestly. I feel like a burden with my understanding, with how long it takes for me to understand something or to really get a full picture. I feel like a burden on my work personally because I can only do so. I mean, we all can only do so much, but like me especially, I can only do so much with my work and everything, whereas with someone else who isn't on the spectrum, who isn't on SSI or whatever, that they can just do a lot more than me. I feel like I'm at a boundary level to, well, I forgot what it's called, but like that man who has that ball rock, whatever, right? And how he's always pushing up, against the hill, and how he's always climbing up the hill, rolling the rock up the mountain, right? I feel like I'm personally the one who I can't give it my all. Because if I do give it my all, then I'm punished. And again, what I'm trying to get at here is that instead of just giving it my all and pushing it, being able to rest when I can, and just pushing it, and going up with it, and really giving it your all, really pushing up that rock like everyone else can, and resting. With me, I feel like I have to go gently, and I have to set a boundary on it. I can't just, go too gently or else the rock's gonna eat me at way. But I really can't push and give it my all without a drone zipping over and zapping me, whatever. That's what it feels like in a nutshell to me. I can't just give it my all because at the end of the day, if I really do give it my all, like everyone else, then I'm just gonna get zapped. So what I end up doing is I end up just doing it gently, or at least the minimum to where I'm not gonna get crushed or fall off, whatever. While everyone else, they get to really push, I just hold and I climb up gently and then I stop, knowing that, or wishing that I really could push and give my all, but I really can't. Because SSI just holds me back. And this is why I didn't get a car as well, also, anyway, because I didn't want to worry about the insurance shit or whatever, and it's just money's complicated alone as it is. Financial stuff though it's complicated alone as it is. Throw in these services and it's even more of a complex thing. Especially when they bite you in the ass for some odd reason. And they always look at it like it's your fucking fault too. It's never their fault. No, no, it's not. It's not their system that fucked up. No, it must be something from your end. I'm so fucking tired with this aspect of my life. Not with my life, whatever, but with this aspect of it. I mean, I have a job coach that comes and visits me for God's sake, and she really does not need to be there. Because I already do my job well enough as it is, whatever. And I do have a supported living, which is basically where a staff comes over and we just do activities. And I do go to like this church group every Monday, but I've kind of grown so fatigued being there, and I've never really seen a reason. I don't even see a reason to be social there anymore, because while I could, I'm just there for the activities. And plus, I know what the outcome is at the end of the day anyway, so why really bother being social? I mean, really. Just to join their cause? Just to join their world. I know that's the case with them anyway, no matter what. And to be in the state that I'm in, I personally, I'm just so fatigued. I'm so fatigued with the government, folks. I'm so fatigued with the service I'm in. I'm so fatigued with my life. I'm just really numb with it all. And it's so ridiculous how the moment I try to be independent, or the moment I even so gently walk towards, just being self-efficient, and, a little independent, I get flashbanged with this shit. Like, it really makes me wonder. It really makes me wonder what the what this really whole thing is really about here, because I don't want to be tied to this all my life. And it's just kind of daunting, honestly. I'm only 26 years old. You know, I'm only 26 years old. I got 4 years until I reach 30. And yet, it just feels like I'm babysitted all my fucking life. Still do, in my life. With parts of my family, with the government. It's ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous, folks, but that's all I'm gonna really have to say and cry to you folks, whatever. I just wanted to vent out to you folks, and basically just tell you folks to, fuck SSI. I mean, really. Again, they may be helpful with sources, whatever, but I'm really starting to hate them. I really am, and I'm just so tired. I just want to be independent. You know, that's all I fucking want anymore. I just want to be self independent and self efficient. I'm so tired of walking on eggshells. I'm so tired of walking in a minefield. And I'm really at a point where I may just rip this off cold turkey. Because I'm truly at a point where I really just don't give two shits anymore. Because I've been tiptoeing with these guys for far too long. And I'm still, waiting and seeing. And when it comes to state stuff, whatever, it takes a minute anyway, but that's always been the case with me. I'm just so fucking done. I'm so done. But yeah, that's overall it, and overall what I wanted to yell to you folks and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to get this out there and just basically cry, not really cry, but you get what I mean. Just vent to your folks on state shit. It's so ridiculous, and I'm at my limit here with this, folks. I'm really getting at my limit. But anyway, that's basically all I have to really say for this video here. I do have more planned and more to come and everything. But yeah, I'm just gonna chill for the day, relax for the day. I just wanted to let you folks know on my feelings and everything. And yeah, fuck you, S.S.I. Again, not the people, but your system. Freaking, this is for, special needs folks and disabled folks. Do fucking better. And for the record, I can actually do shit. I'm 26 years old. I have a bike. I can be independent. So fucking let me be. Meet me halfway, will you? Even though that's never gonna happen in a trillion years. But yeah, I just wanted to vent to you folks and basically let you folks know of what's been going on and what's really been eating away at me. There has been other things that have been eating away at me, like Discord's new bullshit AI verification bullshit age thing, whatever. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm not too surprised anymore. I've grown so numb to the world, honestly. But yeah, this has been this SSI stuff has mainly been the main thing that's really been eating away at me. But yeah, hopefully things can be resolved. But I really doubt it. I'm at a point to where I'm just like, you know what? If you're gonna shoot me, just do it. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of caving in. Just, if you're gonna take the shot, take your fucking shot. Cause I'm tired of going through this spaghetti post awareness bullshit loop here with these folks here, just to finally meet somewhere in the middle. I'm so done. But yeah, that's basically it. I'll see you all sooner or later.